Oh, that was on Monday?
Was that Monday?
We were 11 for 13 on third down, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns on Monday night alone. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes didn't have an interception. He was 34 for 44, 291 yards passing, averaging 6.6 to throw.
I think this is his first game without an interception. I think it is.
I think so.
Yeah, making progress, baby.
Yeah. He did have 4 sacks.
Yeah.
But, it's fine. We got away with the win.
Well, excuse me. And I think on one of those, you see the one where he rolls out, and he kind of Vita Vea missed him, and then he gets hit by another guy. You got to understand that when in that moment also, he's not trying to make a bad play. We've seen where some of those bad plays have caused some interceptions, and Kelce was the guy who ended up getting him down, but he. He scrambled out to the right side, our left. It was his right, and he seemed to get taken a hit. But he was trying to extend the play, but he also wasn't trying to make a mistake. So I think that's a smart move on that. But yeah, he did go down four times. So
yeah. So and then for the rushing side of the ball, Kareem Hunt, who it felt like at some points was just winning us that game single-handedly. Of course, it helped the O-line where he was able to get through. But he had 27 carries for 106 yards and 1 touchdown. His longest was 15 yards. And the nearest guy was Samaje Perine for 1 carry and 10 yards. So he
crucial play.
Single-handedly kind of just took it on his back and was our run game.
Which the first half, I think he had 6 or 8 carries for 28 yards or something like that.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't give him the ball much, and then we were like, after the second half, we were like, okay, what are we doing? Let's get back to the game. Mahomes getting hit, he's getting sacked. Let's give this man the ball and just let him cook, and let the best interior lineman in the league just go to town on some guys. So. I'm glad that they made that adjustment, because as you see, it was huge. We had a 12 play drive, 15 play drive, and he was a huge part in that. So yeah, Kareem Hunt, man, he's looking good.
Yeah, over 100 yards, and he also had that touchdown.
Yep.
So that was really good. And then
Walk-off
for receiving,
touchdown.
Right? Receiving, Travis Kelce back at the top. Had 14 receptions for 100 yards, 7.1 average. His longest was 20 yards.
Hey, check this out.
14 of 16 targets.
Hey, check this out. He's the first player ever in any position over the 35 age or over to have 14 receptions in the game.
Really?
Yep, to have 14 receptions in the game over 35 years of age, any position. He's the first player ever to have 14 receptions in the game. So. Just making stats, man. Making history. Let's go.
And Justin's being a little controversial right now, saying that he's a beast. Washed? I don't know. 100 yards a game, probably.
Yeah.
But then DeAndre Hopkins, too, he had some really, really clutch catches whenever it really mattered. 8 receptions of 9 targets, 86 yards, average of 10.8. A catch and 2 touchdowns, and his longest was 35 yards. And you predicted 2 touchdowns by DeAndre Hopkins, Justin? Yep. So he lived up to that. Okay. Yeah. Check the Twitter if you don't believe him.
DHop was huge. He made some good plays. He just stepped up where it was needed, and it was good. Just to see him, have a good game, because I believe he's a future Hall of Fame guy, and so it's good to see him coming into the offense, and and he had a standout game.
Yeah. Yeah, and as Justin just put up, that catch where he was in triple coverage.
Yeah.
And he still came away with it,
Third
close
down.
on third down.
Dude.
Which, by the way,
I don't know how he got
Chiefs
that ball, bro.
Mahomes was he ended the night perfect on third down, right? Like did he end it?
Yeah.
He was for at least for like 99% of the game.
Yeah,
he was perfect on third down.
I think he ended. Yep.
So, is that for the Chiefs?
The last
on
three,
the whole.
That's the last 3 weeks within this
Oh.
span. We're 11 for 13. Mahomes is 11 for 13.
That was on Monday.
Was that Monday?
We were 11 for 13 on third down, 123 yards, 3 touchdowns on Monday night alone.
Oh, was it? Okay.
That's insane. But another guy was Justin Watson. I mean, his stats aren't, anywhere near what DeAndre Hopkins were, but there were a few catches in there that was like crucial. We needed to get those, and he was able to get it done. So he was 3 for 43, 14.3 average, and his longest was 19. And then everyone else kind of, you got a tight end involved, and then Kareem Hunt and McCall Hardman as well, kind of getting some. So, yeah, and then Noah Gray kind of tweaked something, didn't he, in the game? Was he? Because they said that he was
I can't remember.
dealing with something, but then he came back in and he was fine for the rest of the game. So
it's weird not seeing him have a catch.
Right?
He's been having catches about every game. So, but
yep. And then Travis Kelce had the fumble. That was
sometimes
I'm sure that sucked.
Yeah,
for
sometimes
him.
on those plays, I know he tries to do that little cutback move, and sometimes it's just like, man, you just want to see him to go forward, and the guy had a good spot on the tackle where the ball was, and he did fumble, which was a little big part in the game, and the momentum of that, the end of that was the second quarter, as we were trying to move to get a score before obviously, coming back at halftime to kick the ball off to them. So
Yeah.
that was a little nerve wracking, but hey, it happens, and we pick our guy up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Is there anything you want to talk about on defensive side of the ball? Any highlights you saw?
defensive wise, yeah, we got some set. Carl after he played
Yeah.
a great game, and he's been playing well all year, and so he played really well. I think this game, this is where the culture and the environment of the team of just coming together to where we've seen some of these other games, where we have maybe offensively not really scored touchdowns in the red zone or different things, or the defense have had to step up, and they wasn't their strongest this game. We did give up 24 points, and we seen just McDuffie bid hard on a play action that got him that touchdown towards in the fourth quarter. You just seen some of the guys kind of making some mistakes and different things. Although Chris Jones, he was pressuring well. The defensive line played really well. I mean, just think rushing wise between the three running backs, not no jet sweep or anything, but between the 3 running backs, I think they gave up like 58 yards. So they still, with their 2 top running backs only getting 21 and 28 yards, I think it was. So they still stepped up and played well there. We've seen a little bit Nick Bowden. He got cooked a little bit with the tight end. We've kind of seen that a little all year because, Otten, he had a game, and so I think this was obviously not their best game, but they did still play well. And hey, maybe they still feared them enough to not go for the 2-point conversion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So who
That's
knows?
true.
So I think it was a little weaker game, but we had but they that's where then the offense stepped up. They stepped up and produced where we needed to. Just think on third downs in the whole game, we was 12 for 18 on third downs, and we was 1 for 1 on fourth down. We had the ball for 40 minutes to their 25. We did have the 1 turnover. We didn't cause any turnovers, but I would say Baker Mayfield from last week until this week, the time that he got the ball out of his hands was so quick. A minute, 1.4 to, I don't know, 2.1, I don't know, something, or 1.8. 1.23 to 2.1. It was so quick. So he was ready and he played in the moment, which really does. When the quarterback's getting the ball out like that, and he didn't make a bunch of downfield throws to make risky plays. Although Justin Reed should have had that interception. So, and it's so funny because before the game, a lot of announcers were talking about some of the things that Baker Mayfield do, and he's been having trouble reading those coverages where they drop a guy under, but they still have the guy over the top, to where the under guy comes up and he makes a play, and he's been having interceptions on that very thing that we missed. So he only made that once, and it's funny because the camera looked at him, and you can see him like, whoa, like I caught a break. So
I could kind of tell. Like after that, I was like, man, if he should have caught that, because Baker Mayfield's like, okay,
yeah,
I'm not doing that again.
Right. And you've seen it happen. So again, maybe that's why obviously we didn't get no turnovers, but that was all right. And so we did get a couple sacks with Karlaftis, and then the other one was like a team effort. Everybody kind of jumped on Baker Mayfield a little bit. So we held him to 284 total yards. We had 384 yards. So we defense still stepped up, and they played well. Again, we struggled against tight ends. So Kate Otten had a game. Sterling Shepard had, he had a drive on that last drive, again, that ball. So that was that. And then the overtime. We know the controversial part of do I, as a coach for them, do I go for two? Do I kick this? Give us a shot. And Boyles, he's not a risky guy. So it's just played into his character still. And you never know what's going to happen on the coin toss. You know what I mean? Obviously, Baker Mayfield knew that. Baker Mayfield knew after that coin toss, like, oh, shoot. Like, you seen it, the head go back, and, we received the ball. And it was very methodically moving the ball down the field with Kareem Hunt with that walk-off. And let me just say, let's just bring it out. For those that, want to, again, leverage and complain about the calls, when you look at Jawad Taylor on that goal line play in the overtime, you can tell it wasn't, like, as the play happened, and even when you look in slow motion and you start to see the upper body move, sure, they could have called it, but it was so subtle that, sure, you could have called it and you could have not. Even if they called it, I guaranteed the Chiefs were scoring a touchdown on that play. So, I mean, they were determined to get in that end zone, and I think our play calling was going to resemble that. And then, in the fourth quarter and in that overtime drive, they couldn't. They didn't really stop what we were doing. So I think that they were. We were determined to get in the end zone. So call could have been called. Sure, no, they didn't, and that's a part of the game. It happens. I'm sure we could have been all up in arms on the faint holding call that got them the one drive for the touchdown, that we were like, what was going on, to where even when they show the replay of Trent McDuffie, that he was the one looking like to be pushed over, because Trent McDuffie made contact but was still within the 5 yards, and I think it was Shepard, like, literally, grabbed his jersey and pushed him aside. So, and then them, it looked like a faint face mask or whatever. And they called the face mask, but I mean, really, it should have been called holding. So it was 5 more yards than the 10, or whatever. So I mean, there's going to be those things that happen in the game, and all those that want to hate can continue to complain about the play calling, but you can't make up for everything else that goes into the game and what happens in that, whether offense, defense, the opposing team, the Chiefs, it all goes into the pot of the total game. And so that's a part of it. So, again, we come out, the Chiefs come out, we're 8-0, so still undefeated. That's 14 wins in a row since last year losing on Christmas Day. And so 14 games in a row, and they're playing well. And here's the thing I love is that the coaching and the environment is this, that even when players have gone down, a lot of people talked about this game. Oh well, the Buccaneers' top 3 playmakers are out. We have 4. We have 3 receivers and our running back who were key players in what we were looking to do, which 3 of them were from trade and pickup, and then the other our star running back. You know what I mean? And here's the thing: people have even Jalen Watson, our cornerback. So even saying, oh well, they had these and that. It's happening all around the league right now. A lot of injuries going around, and teams just have to, players have to pick up, where the people are dropping. And so the one thing I love is that here's the thing, our team aspect, when players have went down, and they did go down, there's a next man up mentality, right? And with that though, the coaching staff has instilled confidence in the players that, okay, you're the next man up, but I believe in you so much and trust in you that you're better than the person on the other side of you. That receiver to step up. You're better than that DB lining up. I mean, look at Justyn Watson. He had 3 for 43. That were some crucial plays. You know what I'm saying? And so these guys are coming in and they're stepping up, and everybody's playing their part. They have the goal in mind. And, sure, we have the long-term goal of a 3P, but they're taking game by game. You know what I'm saying? So kudos to them and just what they're creating. Man, I'm telling you, Reed and Spags they're amazing. And Veach in the front office and what he's done to get players in, making that move for DHop and some of these players to know, okay, let's help our guys out because we're dropping like flies a little bit. Bringing Kareem Hunt in, and he's playing spectacular. So it's good to see those guys coming up. I hope Patty, man, take care of that ankle, bro. That was so scary on that little play.
Don't do that to me.
Man, non-contact is the worst injuries.
I know.
Non-contact.
Yeah.
So it was just like.
He just buckled.
Like, I don't know about you guys, and I'm sure everyone watching, the touchdown happened. I'm jumping out my chair. I'm going crazy, and they just moved the camera, and he's on the ground. I'm like, no. I was like, there's no flag. Who hit him? It had to have been super late because I felt like he got the ball out. I'm like, what just happened? We're thinking, Justyn thought, man, do ACL, whatever, by just the way kind of his leg and he buckled. And I'm just like, it just sucked the life. I'm sure you can hear a pin drop in that stadium, which is rare in Arrowhead. And but it's funny because they came out and Reed said, I want you to get x-ray again. And Mahomes was like, that ain't happening again. Like, take me in the tent, spat me up, and then you see him running on the sideline jogging, and he comes back in the game.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good opportunity, though, to talk about why we got Carson Wentz for that type of situation, because after that happened, I was kind of worried just because of how long, like with what you were saying, because there was no contact. It's like, man, how is this going to be bad? But for the game, I wasn't even really that worried. Like I was, like obviously you'd rather have Mahomes in there, and it ended up being a super close game. But with Carson Wentz in there to just manage the rest of the game and like just help them keep on hammering away at them and keep on to the lead, I was like, well, I'm not too worried about it as I otherwise would have been.
Yeah.
So
and he's played in big moments, close games and different things like that. And yeah, I felt the same. I felt pretty good in that because some of the other players around that, I think again with how Kareem Hunt was playing, would have took a load off. And then man, you got Kelce and DHop on certain plays that we need to throw the ball. And I think could have managed that game as well. So. But it was good to see him come back in the game and play. And, he didn't do anything crazy, which was good. So hopefully he takes care of that. And we just see they get healthy because injuries, they can link, especially ankle, they can linger a little bit. And so and we got a lot of games left with no bye week.